Hi guys, welcome to another video. I have this Cattleya that I need to repot immediately, and let's do it together. It's a Cattleya that has growths everywhere and roots that grew completely out of the pot. However, it was blooming like a month ago, and I decided to wait the blooms to go to repot it afterwards. If you don't know, Cattleyas have very sensitive roots, so it's ideal that you repot it when it has new growths sprouting, and it's also when it's growing completely new root system. Before I start, I want to let you know that I have been off because I was really sick. I am slowly returning to record the videos. Today is extremely hot in London, so the windows are open. I'm sorry about the outdoor noise, but there is nothing that I can do. And if you enjoy this video, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. I will respond to it as soon as I can. If you love Cattleya and you want to know a little bit more about them, let's repot this beauty together and explore more. So this one is my Cattleya rantiaca Machine Sports cross with sibling. Cattleya rantiaca is a species that produces tiny, usually yellow flowers. I used to have it, but I lost mine to thrips, so I have only the cross, this hybrid, that produces a ton of tiny orange Cattleya flowers. They are not fragrant, but they are so striking in terms of colors and the amount of flowers that it produces. Also, it blooms every year for me. This one, it's one of the easiest Cattleyas that I have in my collection, and it's also beautiful, gorgeous. I super recommend this one if you want to start and you are new to orchids, because as I said, it's difficult for you to lose this one. It's quite resilient. It blooms every year, and I don't think the roots are as finicky as other Cattleyas. I live in a place that can get really cold and humid, so I had to adapt my mix a lot for me to be able to grow Cattleyas without rotting them. I lost many Cattleyas. I'm not still as good as I would love to be with them, and also it's quite difficult because you need to offer bright light, but this one blooms for me growing under my growing lights every year. So another reason for you to purchase this one if you find it near you, and it's affordable as well, because that's not a rare plant or anything, and it's a hybrid. So as I said, I've only repotted this plant like 2 years ago. The mix is very old and it doesn't fit in its pot anymore. It's not ideal to have this situation like this because I'm not able to hydrate my plant as I would like. So I need to pot it, remove old roots, and place the newer growths near the potting mix. I wanted the roots to go into their potting, so I'll be able to hydrate my plants and water it easily. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'll grab my potting tools. Let's go to the table and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with this plant. For this repotting, I'm using my usual mix of bark, Sphagnum moss. I have a pair of scissors, and before I start, I won't use any hydrogen peroxide because I have this plant for a long time and I know it doesn't have any pests. Then what I have to do first is to remove the plant for this pot. The pot broke, it fell the other day, so another reason it cannot be here anymore. This is a plastic cup. Here in the UK, some yogurts, they come in these plastic pots. So I just clean them up, drill some holes, and I reuse them. I have them with many of my plants. The mix is extremely dry. I'll start to, if it's difficult to remove the mix, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this back there. Let's try here. I wasn't expecting it to be so dry because I watered it yesterday, but anyway, it is what it is, right? So we need to remove everything from the root system as we do with any repotting. Starting with the back, because I know that the back part of this plant is likely to be dry and dead. The most important thing here is for me to be careful with the roots from the new growth and the newer growth in the front. So that's why I'm starting with the back, because I can be more deliberate with that. So here in the middle of the ball of roots, the Sphagnum was a little bit wetter than before, but still very dry, which is sad. I wasn't expecting it to be so dry because I watered everything yesterday. Anyway, I love summer, but my plants, I don't know if they love it so much, especially when we are inside. The conditions are not ideal if you don't have anything to help them a little bit. Because it is very, very dry and I don't want to lose the good roots, I'm gonna put it and soak it in water for a little bit, as you can see, and I'll finish removing all of this mix as I do with any other repotting. I know that all of these roots are dead. Can you see that when I touch them, development is coming very, very quickly and easily out, and that they are all dry. So all of this ball of roots, I think it's completely dead. But I want to make the good roots flexible, a little bit flexible. So I will just soak it and I will come back when I finish removing everything. So as I said, it was extremely dry. I need to water everything. I've watered, so as you can see, these roots, they green up, which means they are alive, they are storing chlorophyll, and they became green as soon as I water them. Very different from these roots here. As you can see, they are not only brown or like dark brown, but they are very mushy. If you touch the roots, they will come completely, the outer layer of the roots will come off, which means they are completely dead. So because Cattleyas, they have a rhizome and that they grow one bulb after another across the rhizome, it's becoming a very long plant. So I will put them in a large pot. But these ones, they are all seedling bulbs, so I can remove all of them and they are coming out very easily. They are not even mature. Nothing will sprout from this section of my plant, so I can just remove everyone. However, I can see an eye here swelling up. I may pot it separately, but just to show you. Very, very old. Let me cut this down. I didn't have anything else, that's why I use it. I bought this plant when I could still buy plants from Europe before Brexit. That was the last haul that I've done. Now I will remove all of these old roots so I can safely cut them off because they are completely dead. Nothing will come out from them. They are not feeding my plant anymore, so there is no reason for me to keep them there. So if that was the case with your plant, you could safely do so as well. Still have some dead roots here. It's very important to sterilize your pair of scissors when you are working with many plants at the same time. So you can sterilize your tools so you don't share pathogens. I have some dead roots here as well. You can see the difference between them and the other roots. So all of these ones I will remove. This one is a bulb that was growing but got attacked by thrips. As I said, this plant is resilient because other Cattleyas, they simply died. They didn't resist like this one did. So now I need to be more careful. I need to touch one by one to check what's alive and what's not alive. Luckily, I do have new growths that are sprouting. And also, I have, look, there is still dead roots here underneath. I will speed up this part. You don't need to see me cutting everything. And I will come back when I'm done. So that's what I'm left with, and I will repot my plant now. But just to let you know, Cattleyas have very sensitive roots, so if in a month you notice that the pseudobulbs are very dehydrated and most of the roots that you pot the plant with are dead, it's a good idea to unpot it and remove all the roots that died after your repotting, because they can spoil your mix. But hopefully that's not gonna happen. I have some roots branching out here. I have the newer growths pushing out some new roots. So all good. I'm so happy. I love this plant, so hopefully it won't stress so much. For my repotting, I will use my usual mix of bark and sphagnum moss, but cattleyas are drought tolerant plants. They enjoy to dry out very, very well in between their repotting. So I prefer to use more bark than sphagnum moss because of my climate, that it's extremely, can get very cold from September to May. So oh gosh, I need to remove that. Our warm season is very, very short. I really wanna, let me do something in here, very important. Remove that. As you can see, this root system is long, guys. So long. So let me try to not break them and also fit my plant inside. I wanted the two newer growths to be close, to be in touch with the mix. Very, very important. Even so, I cut some growths. I do believe it is still very, very long. I'm gonna remove this one as well because it will fill the spot so quickly and I don't want that to happen. Okay, much better now. Let's start repotting. Especially cattleyas, they don't like to have the roots disturbed, and I am not the luckiest person with cattleyas in the world. I lost so many that I try to do everything that I can to save them. So let's keep placing some moss in here, some bark, sorry. Although it loves air so much, as I mentioned a ton of times, it's really important to try to fill some of the gaps. It has some holes, the pot has some holes that I drew to aerate it a little bit more. As I said, cattleyas, they enjoy to dry out very, very well in between watering. Otherwise, you can rot their roots, and you don't want to do that. So a little bit of moss here and more bark. So the last thing that you do here is to add some slow release fertilizer, and let's grab all the bark and place the last layer of bark until the pot's completely filled. It's a huge mess, as you can see, so I'm just add a little bit more of bark, and that's it. I covered my newer growths as well. I will try to stake that because I want it to be in touch with the mix. But the plant is potted. I will water it very well now. I don't have anything to stake it now. I may use a half stone. Sometimes I like to do that to make them form in the pot. I don't want the newer roots not being completely stable and maybe have some issues with the newer roots, so none of that. Something else that I will do later as well, to add some stick insecticide inside the pot. Oh gosh, I broke a root. Oh, it happens, but anyway. Alright, so let me clean up and let's conclude this video. So hi guys, I lost the last part of this filming. So when I was editing, I was like, oh my gosh, where is the conclusion? So that's a few days later. I'm sorry about the background noise. So as you can see, my plant is potted, it's happily potted there. A few things that I told you already, it's about the roots, that we have to keep an eye on them, because my moss was extremely dry. I've already watered this plant, and I use a rock. As you can see, the rock is there to stabilize my plant, and the stick pesticide is here as well, to avoid any pests destroying my two new growths. And now what I need to do is just keep my watering routine, and in a month's time to start fertilizing this plant again. And hopefully, since this is a transparent pot, I'll be able to keep an eye on the root system to see if everything is okay. I can show you what happened a few days later. 1 second, let me just remove the outer pot. So I don't know if you can see, the root system is green. It's all green up in there. It is still very wet. I'm gonna throw some of this water away. The newer growths, they are all stabilizing here. I don't want them moving, so if they are not stabilized, every time I move the pot, the root may move and may scratch on the bark, and I may lose the root tip, and then these roots may stop growing, and I don't want that to happen. Let me place it back. So yeah, so all good. My 2 new growths are there, well placed. I still have some space on this pot, which is very important because I want to keep these on this potting mix hopefully for the next 2 years again, and then in 2 years time I may have another long, very long stem, and I may have some roots growing out of the pot, but it's okay. As you could see, my plant was healthy and growing nicely. Hopefully next year I'll show you beautiful orange blooms again. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you love cattleyas as much as I do, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye! Yeah.